Mexican, Spanish,
Ghanaian,
Irish and Puerto Rican, mixed, queer,
non-binary/undecided, and German and Slovak.
Boricua,
undecided, what I want it to be.
Puerto Rican, Caribbean nerd,
standing on business.
Puerto Rican and Mexican, beautiful.
Special,
African,
Dominican, Cuban,
South Asian,
Hispanic,
Puerto Rican,
Empathetic,
caring,
Ghanaian, transportation, and also the A train.
Beauty standards.
the education system.
prison equals right pipeline.
buying food, resources for others.
homelessness, anti-homeless architecture,
healthcare, queer and trans healthcare,
Rehab and mental health.
society,
societal and gender norms,
dieting culture,
Who's in power? The government. College aid.
Access to education.
gun violence,
racial inequality,
Stigma surrounding general injustice.
the education system,
I realized being a New Yorker was important to me when I began to read about the rich, queer, and artistic history of the city.
Being an artist is important to me whenever my identity is seen as something passively political.
I knew being a writer was important to me when I found myself writing every day. When getting a good grade on an essay brought me joy. When telling someone's story felt empowering and publishing articles brought satisfaction. Talking to people in my community and putting their story out there for people to see and read changed something for me. I want to create not only based on my own experiences, but from others. I've talked to union workers, climbing gym staff, and even a dog cafe owner. And they've all had such unique things to say and talk about. Writing stories about their fight and their path made me feel like a valuable player in the journalistic world. I was the one in between the people and the press. I want to continue that, but also explore the different ways I can communicate their stories. In the largeness of New York, I found a place in my community through writing.
I am someone who is really creative and can use that to talk and represent things that aren't shown or talked about in media. And while I don't like it how my identity will be seen as only political, with my art it's still very important to send a message that others may not be able to. A world without racism will look completely different than what we live in now, and simply because racism affects how we view the world, how people interact with others, and privileges are given to others for their skin color. Being an artist is being creative and using inspiration, your imagination in a way that helps you execute the ideas that you think up and create what is impossible.
New York has been the breeding ground of radical ideas for so long, from fashion to politics. It almost feels demoralizing that a city of such progress is contained in a country of such regression. You can travel throughout the entire world within the confines of 5 boroughs, and there's a story and history along every block and up every stoop. Sometimes a block like St. Mark's should stay the street you hear scary stories about as a kid, and not a place for $5 frozen margarita happy hours. We're losing affordable neighborhoods to those who want to observe and destroy culture for their own benefit and not be part of creating it. These are neighborhoods that have housed countless families, working class people, and yes, messy, dirty, starving artists. The Chelsea Hotel is no longer what it used to be, but that doesn't mean the artistic and radical history and culture of New York City should not be upkept.
putting yourself second,
giving communities freedom, working for the betterment of all rather than a select few.
Not staying silent.
Speak up for others.
Lifting up silenced and underrepresented voices.
Lift every voice and sing.
Putting other people's stories out there.
Protecting the biggest minority.
Having empathy.
Giving back. Defending those that need it.
Helping others when you know you can.
Buying food, resources for others.
Be cleaner.
Helping others to better themselves.
Fixing issues that feed the community.
Making sacrifices, commitments.
Listening with empathy and showing up for one another.
Being a good person and having morals to stand by is all you can do when nothing else is certain.
Finding out that I'm bisexual wasn't a huge surprise to me.
However, I consider it part of how I identify myself. When I saw that people are trying to erase bisexuality, I felt angry. Every time someone says I'm legal or an adult, I feel repulsed. Although I'm grateful to see another year of life, now I feel like it is the worst time to become an adult. It's already weird enough when people attempt to put logic behind bisexuality, and now they're trying to erase it as a whole? Mind your business, please and thank you. Instead, I want us women to be seen as warriors. I want us to be feared as a man would fear God. Who are you to say what I can and can't do with my body? What I can and can't say? Who are you to stop us? I love being comfortable with being alone, being me. I love dancing when I'm home alone. I love my sense of fashion inspired by my mother.
When I realized that I was transgender, I realized that people would never view me as the man that I am. Most people see me as lesser than a man, a miscellaneous it masquerading as a boy, but never a man. To be trans is to be in a constant state of doubt. People doubting me doubting myself, and the world doubting our existence as a community. But I will always present myself as a man, even if the word trans comes before it.
I often found myself explaining that I was born a Catholic, but my mother later converted me and my brother to a different branch of the same faith. Their constant questioning about why I had converted led me to respond unaware in ways that were offensive to those from other religions. This also led me to embrace that being gay was important to me as someone who constantly had to prove and repeat my sexuality to others because I didn't look gay or because I believed in God. Pero ¿quién decide eso de que no pueda creer en Dios siendo gay?
Being a Lutheran was important to me when people followed with, "And you're Mexican?"
I realized that being a santera was important to me when I stopped hiding my identity to make others comfortable.
I realized being Ghanaian means so much to me because my name is Yawa from my mother's language, Ewe.
Others reduce my identity, demonize my beliefs, and me as well. Santeria isn't darkness, it's lightness, it's love, it's hardships, it's a helping hand, it is balance, and it is me. It's the root that grounds me when others try to uproot me. It's the crown I hold with my head up high, the drumming in my chest when I feel lost. Soy hija de mis orillas, soy la nieta de todo lo que vinieron antes de mí. Soy una santera, ya no me escondo. Being Afro-Latina is important to me. When people try to erase the Hispanic part of me to make me fit in with them, or deem me as not black enough because I'm lighter. Mi corazón late como el sonido de Añá llamando a nuestras orillas, teniendo una conversación sagrada. The drum speaks, and my body begins to remember what the world wanted me to forget. We're not just believers, we're healers, protectors, storytellers.
Yawa, it is given to a girl born on Thursday. More than just a name, it feels like a link to my roots. I grew with my mother's tongue surrounding me, wrapped into just no clothing with meaning, and surrounded by gold that told stories of pride and heritage of my kind. Whenever I go to Ghana, I feel my reflection in these people's faces, the expressions, the way they act in the world. It is like a mirror reflecting not just me, but the history of my heritage. The music from the streets and the vibrant celebrations remind me that being Ghanaian is not about where I live today, but it is about deeply rooted connection. Being Ghanaian is not just my history, it is me. I feel with those I have never met, the feeling of knowing a place far away, and the silent pride in me knowing my name, my tongue, and my culture will always be with me.
I realized being Latina was an important part of my identity pretty quickly into my life.
From a young age, I felt like I was walking a tightrope, balancing my reserved personality with my Puerto Rican heritage.
It's hard not to see those genes when they are to blame for my curly hair and my skin tone and the language that I first spoke. I lost my home tongue and I don't know if I'll ever regain it, but I know that it lingers in my voice when I talk, when I try to pronounce a new word, my accent buried deep in my heart comes out. Sounding foreign on my lips, something that doesn't belong, but something that should, and I hear the accent of the language I pursued in spite of my mother's homeland, Puerto Rico, laying into my culture and my native tongue. Taking away my pronunciation and giving me one of the gringos, the one I desperately wanted to have when I was 5, a curse that I'm stuck with into my teenage years. There's a bridge that I can't find a way to cross, one that I'm stuck in the middle of, with no way to move forward or move backwards without betraying or lying to someone or something. Too bland to be a real Latina, but too foreign to the people who colonized my island.
From a young age, people would assume I was shy, unintelligent, or even stuck up, simply because I didn't fit the stereotype of the loud, boisterous Latina. As a teenager, I began to notice how these two aspects of my identity shaped the way people perceived me. It was as if I was living under a magnifying glass, consistently examined and judged based on stereotypes and assumptions, that I could never make an accidental technician. It was frustrating to be consistently judged and misunderstood, to have my identity reduced to a set of preconceived notions based on ignorance and prejudice. I learned to embrace my unique perspective and challenge those narrow-minded views, proving that there's more to me than meets the eye. I'm determined to show them that being Puerto Rican is not a limitation, but a source of strength and resilience.
Leaning towards conservatism.
Going on a downward slope.
Where resistance is stigmatized.
Right-winged.
Annoying.
Polarized.
Damaging.
A tragedy. Recessing.
Dangerous.
Problematic.
Failing. White centralized.
Based on the idea that money and social status is power.
Oppressed.
For the rich.
Heading towards dictatorship.
Scary.
Chaotic and right-winged.
Stubborn.
Unfinished.
I will always be proud to be brown, at least now.
I realized that the way people said my name was important to me when they'd mispronounce it continuously.
For most of my childhood, I'd always put Indian secondary to American. When I was little, I barely had any brown friends. Even Bollywood actresses and Indian models showed me that lighter skin was better, and I hated seeing the lines of disappointment on my grandmother's face when she saw that I'd slightly tanned over summer vacation. Aunties frowned when they attempted speaking Tamil or Kannada or even Hindi to me, and my eyes didn't light up with recognition. My mother had given up on purchasing Indian clothes for a daughter whose eyes filled with distaste whenever she was forced into a traditional sari. But now I'm tired of cutting off my circulation and access to the richness of my culture. Because if I forget my roots, I destroy my heritage. I cut off my family. I deny myself a truth that the world can see.
Many say my name Samara instead of the correct way, Samara. At first, it didn't bother me much. I'd politely correct them, thinking they'd get it right next time. But over time, having to repeat myself again and again started to feel like more than just a mispronunciation. It felt like a dismissal of who I am. My name isn't just something to say, it's a part of me. It carries meaning, it's how people refer to me, it's my identity. So when someone constantly says it wrong, even after I've corrected them, it's irritable. like they're choosing convenience over respect. I choose to love in a world that hasn't always been gentle with me. I feel like I can truly say I go that extra mile, and everyone I know agrees with me too.
I realized that pursuing a career in healthcare was important because of the disparities that women of color experience.
Being a young woman of color was important to me when I was singled out or treated unfairly because I was Black and a female.
Specifically Black women that experience inequalities in the healthcare system in the United States. This is primarily due to systematic racism and unconscious biases. 3 out of 4 Black women have most likely experienced mistreatment from the healthcare system to some extent. When a Black woman is expressing her pain or discomfort, she is often dismissed because many people believe that Black people as a whole are superhuman and that they don't experience physical pain to the same degree as white people. This is believed amongst many medical trainees that Black people have thicker skin. Addressing these systemic inequalities and challenging harmful misconceptions is essential to creating a more equitable and compassionate healthcare system where all individuals, regardless of race, receive the dignity and the care they deserve.
Being part of my nationality was important to me when people started to diminish me. They diminish you for it because you're from a certain place and you don't fit in with their norms. I learned to be proud of my background and embrace it. I also realized being a Christian was important to me when I saw how everything around me was being normalized. Stuff that used to feel wrong and shocking didn't even surprise people anymore. It was like everyone just went along with it. My faith reminds me what I stand for. It kept me grounded when the world felt like it was losing its sense of right and wrong.
I knew being non-binary was important to me when I stopped fitting in with everyone else.
I was scared of the idea of being non-binary, because what happens when you identify with nothing?
It's a new way of expressing myself, and I feel so much joy when I look androgynous and don't conform to preset gender roles. It feels so freeing when people mistake me for a boy and have to do a double take and ask me. I can be something different, unique, and gorgeous. Being non-binary will always be a challenge for me. In a world where we are supposed to check a box dictating whether we're male or female, I am something more and less. I am me. I often get asked why I chose such a feminine name, and I don't have a good answer. Kiana just stuck like no other name would. Giving a good, reasonable answer would just be putting myself back in the cage of the gender binary.
I used to be someone that needed labels to give myself a guideline on how to identify. Eventually, restricting myself to one binary gender wasn't just hurting my self-view. It was keeping me from fully flourishing and putting myself out there. That's when being non-binary became important to me. I started seeing it as identifying with everything rather than nothing. While the label itself puts my gender in a box, there is so much free space within it. I can explore and present myself however I want, to the point where it feels like I don't have a label sometimes. I can just be Mars without any expectations. It's taken such a weight off my shoulders, and I consider it to be a big part of my identity.
If it wasn't one, it was the other, and even sometimes both. I experienced discrimination and it affected me and had a strong enough impact on me and has shaped me into the person I am today. I have more patience, kindness, and nurturing aspects. I see things probably differently than other people. I have qualities that some people may not have and can be beneficial in my future. I want to do things for myself and be someone successful, and that's why I have to put myself out there and make my talents known and my presence felt.
My identity is pushing through as if I was a train. I realize I have to be the best person I can be when I see friends of mine going through things, or people closer to me who try to act like nothing's wrong. Being a good person is important to me when I see the homelessness on the street and failed dreams hidden in the form of murals painted on building walls. I think of a world where corrupt governments and inequality are abolished. A world where people can be free to ask for any help they need without judgment in any scenario. A world where people don't discriminate, no matter the type of person, LGBTQ, skin tone, culture, or background. A world where people can express themselves without worry and be treated equally as you walk through the streets as anyone else.
Leading with facts. End unnecessary conflicts. Break generational curses.
Do it better.
Advocate for minorities.
Advocate for increased empathy and understanding.
Make progress.
Use history as an example.
Knowing that religion doesn't equate all-knowing.
Show improvement and real change.
Learn from our past.
Learning from each other.
Take all Americans' opinions into account, not just the 1%.
Stop gun violence.
Become less divided.
Building a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued.
United.
Happy.
Open.
Accepting.
Kinder.
Grassroots.
Affordable.
Empowering.
Brave.
Progressive.
Safe.
Revolutionary.
A dream.
Inclusive.
Diverse.
Free.